Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Interesting discussion I saw in the chat room. Give me 1 second here. Um, so, how's it going for everyone? Give me 1 second here. How do I get that back up there? Hey, I'm driving and texting. Well, hello, Brian. Brad, how are you doing? Lisa, Franny, Gleason, how are you doing? Thank you for the email. I got Gemma, Lori, good to see you. Jaguar Spirit, how are you doing? Lisa, again. So, great Tuesday. Cold here. Don't know about where it is where you are. Trust everyone is doing well. Peter, how are you doing? How are you? Oh, lost my pen. Gotta have the pen. You ever notice that? The small little quirks in life. Hey, everyone. You know, this thing, November 7th, I guess, is tomorrow. It's 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Apparently, there's universal thing to thank Mother Earth, thank healing. We all could use that. And so, by all means, put that in your calendar as well. Love the sign. Hello, Christopher. Good to see you. Blazing River, how are you doing? So, One Love, good to see you. Ricky Delaney Jackson, good to see you as well. So, the question for the chat room today, can God have sex? Did you ever think about that? Can God have sex? Did God ever have sex? Is God capable of having sex? What kind of sex? I mean, if you create something, when I was breaking free of the God spell, one of the things that I found so amusing was in the Apocrypha, the Gospel of, Adam and Eve, and the book of Adam and Eve is the proper one. And when Adam was confronted about having sex with Eve, he answered back, and in the story, it's actually the devil who is talking to him, because the devil had to teach him how to have sex. And Adam's response was perfect. He said, "Why would I want to have sex with myself?" Speaking of Eve. Eve came from him, if you follow the myth. And that is one of the greatest questions that most modern theologists will not address. Adam was having sex with himself. Now you know where the term "go coitus yourself" comes from. So now you know. All right. Got my hot tea. Yes, there is such a thing as spiritual sex. You actually experience it when you have sex. The thing about orgasm, the master magicians know the power of semen. You can take semen and do some mighty things with it. And so, yes, to answer your question, why do you think most women in the moment of pure ecstasy scream out, "Oh God"? And a lot of men do it. So nuns and priests have sex all the time. Fanny, I'm going to show that. I like that. That's it's true. And no matter how you look at this, we all have sex with ourselves. I mean, there's things we could get into, but we'll keep the decorum at a certain level. Manners always have their place. But yeah, there is, Peter. I absolutely think there is. Just reading some more. Hello, Warrior Princess. Sent a letter to you today with your package in that. So, Patrick, I can't remember that part. It's the one thing I think that angels and spirits of all kind envy most about mankind is our ability to have sex. It occupies most of our thoughts, and except I think when you get to a certain point, I think you just begin to realize that there's a lot of energy being expended there. I like the, fourth principle of energy, and that's the conservation of energy. Uh, challenge it in other places, but whatever. So, um, I don't really see a lot of people answering the question here. Hey, Deborah, how are you doing? Good to see you. Jerry, good to see you. Just want to say hello as many people as we can. Desires? Well, Brian, I think you may be right. Scott, absolutely. So, have fun with the question and do with it as you so wish. So, got a great PDF here. I'll put it out there for anyone who wants to have a copy of it. This is a paper that was written by Dr. Neil Cherry. This guy knows what he's talking about. And any of you are into the Schumann resonance as to how it affects our body, how it affects our minds. If any of you were suffering in the last 36 hours, feeling depressed, oppressed, just kind of drained, what we're getting is a double whammy now. We're getting both cosmic ray intensities that are attacking our bodies, our brains. Remember, we are electric creatures. Electromagnetic is really a term. We generate a pulse, an electrical pulse that can be actually measured. And as he pulls out his black box to shut it down. But this is an absolute great paper. It's a way for you to really begin to understand. I know Sue G is really into this, along with many of you as well, Brian. And so if you want it, to send me an email. I'll send you the link. And it's a good paper. I'd highly recommend it. All right, so I'm going to stop the share here and get back to where I want. So, I saw some comments yesterday that with the show that the physicist and philosopher, by the way, that was just a phenomenal show. If you missed it, go back and watch it. We got into more hardcore physics on yesterday's show that any person who was wanting an introduction, Dr. Albers just absolutely shined. And she shined where she shines best. She is a particle physicist. She knows this stuff. So get out there. Hey, Stormy. Yeah, and if you are a targeted individual, you're going to feel it. Listen, and by the way, I've had some people send me some phenomenal stuff for the fibromyalgia. Thank you very much, Jennifer. You know who I'm talking about, as well as others. And the thing that I am noticing, now I did not notice this back 20 years ago, didn't notice it 10 years ago. Something has changed in our planet, external and internal. But now, when the geomagnetic levels hit the KP index below 0, I suffer terribly. It really inflames the agitation of the fibromyalgia. Why? Because fibromyalgia attacks the nerve endings through electrical impulses. And now Even when we have geomagnetic disturbances, which are few and far between these days, we have this layered effect because we have cosmic rays as well. So there you go. So how many of you have actually ever seen the tsunami footage? I'm just going to take a quick poll here to see how many of you have ever seen that. Because when I read someone who made the comment that someone had debunked the tsunami, and I'm gathering the creatures themselves, they are what we would call ignorant. I mean, that's the only thing you can say. It's a kind way of saying they are truly. Patrick, I did not know that. Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? You know, meditation helps, but I can also say that CBDs work wonderfully. So I'm going to show this. I'm going to let you hear the sound so you can really live it. We're going to go, I guess, about 10 minutes. So everyone get prepared. Those of you who don't like seeing people die, you may not want to watch because there are a couple of people that, well, there was a lot more. And if you've never seen this footage, hello, Paradigm Shift. Well, greetings from New Zealand. How thank you. Hope you enjoy this. So much respect. And welcome, everyone, all the moderators. I think I've said that once, but I'll say it again if I didn't. So let's do some going back in time here. All right, so allow me to come up here and share. So I'll set the scene for you. This is the event. This is the river. Actually, you could call it a canal, but a river no less. And this particular place is 5 miles inland. So I'll let you see for yourself, and we'll watch this all the way to the appearance of the Nigen. And you can see that this is not Photoshop. People are just dumb. They don't understand Photoshop. It's just, anyway, I won't get on a tangent. Let's relive some history here, folks. And this is intense. So you can see here, the water is flowing out. The earthquake has just happened. Everyone's still shook up from the earthquake. And as you can see, the water is rushing out of this river. The gentleman shooting this went through, well, you'll see it. Now the tsunami warning. Watch those boats. You see the water still? And you can see now how much is drained out. I mean, it sucked the water out, as you can see. Now, folks, you think these are just small waves? Wait till you see the boats. I don't know how many hundreds of people died, but you'll see what happens here. Watch the boats as now the tsunami is hitting. Folks, this is what living in a tsunami is like. These people have not a clue. Who would? Watch these boats. I mean, this is the power that you have no idea. It's right underneath the current here. Imagine this. I mean, I could not. I think they estimated the water flowing at 100 miles an hour, and you're going to see why. And the roar just gets more intense. Look at the trees to the right. That's a school. Remember this school. Now, the creatures that we see, do you see that white car pulling out? So the buildings are about 7 foot, 6 foot that we actually see it. This man is probably, he is looking for a place to get higher. Remember this spot right here. You're going to see what happens. Look at that water. Anyone caught in that? And it's only intensifying. Look at it how it's when it's hitting that bridge. He's telling everyone to get to higher ground. Yeah. And now, and now, the real horror is about to hit. It's now breached the wall. Complete devastation at the bend of the river. You're going to see complete buildings. Look at that, folks. Now, right here is where our creature will come up. Remember the tree right here where he was standing? Now, coming up to about the 10-minute mark is where the first creature comes. Actually, there's one right here now. And you're going to see a person right here. Now, I'm just going to stop it right here. So everyone, just get your eyes trained up over here, and we'll see where these Nijin actually come from. There's a complete building going down now. Now, there's already something moving right here, folks. Just get your eye. I've watched this a number of times, so it's actually crawling up here. It's quite amazing. Now, here they come. There's actually a pod of them. Now, they're coming right here. And what you don't see is right back here. There's actually one that you remember the building that was right there next to the street. See, you see this? Watch. And here they come. Watch this one right here. Do you see him? Do you see how he jumped up right here? Now watch. And I know maybe a little irritating, but they're all here. It's just amazing when they start getting out. Now here's the first one. Now there's already others that have actually made it to the rooftops, but here's our first one. And I'll turn this down. See it? Look at that. Now, folks, that building is over 8 foot. And you can see, I have other footages from other villages of these same creatures coming up. You'll see another group come out of the same area. Yeah, I mean, if you've never seen this footage, you have no idea what the devastation was like. Now the building is gone. It's been washed away. Those are the power lines falling. But there's still creatures in here, and so we'll stop it there. Near the end of this video, I'll advance it down. The fires start. So this is the aftermath now, and the waters are still coming in. They haven't begun to recede out yet, and you can just see the total devastation. Now, the real horror is for the people on the other side of the canal. And that's the beginning of the infernos. This fire ends up spreading through all these, and these are homes, folks. These are apartments. And as I said, you can still, and look at what's happening. So there you go. I wanted to show that. I know it's somewhat horrific. I just need to get out of here. But it's important, I think, that we all understand that there are things living on this planet that are even above us. So most people haven't seen that footage, and it's shocking to me. I mean, there's almost a psychic connection of the intensity of what you're seeing. Yeah. So I don't see how that could have ever been faked, how it could have ever been debunked. I don't know what there's to debunk. People cannot handle truth. You and I both know that. Most of the people here listening to, watching me as well, Gemma Church, that is called a Nigen. And it's spelled Nygen, I believe. They're remarkable creatures, big, as you can see, intelligent, and whatever happened, their whole kingdom. No, I don't know. I don't think, Peter, that it was anything that would have harmed people. They seem to want to stay away from people. They have the ability to be like a chameleon, just to completely blend in to the background. So, it leaves a lot to think that how many other kingdoms are here? Kind of, isn't that a great segue? Oh, come on, folks. You need to applaud for that. You work for that perfect moment. It's like, how do I do that segue? I digress. Yeah, it was March 2011. Yep. So it is a play on ninja. I don't know, Brian. It's if you study the folklore, you find out that they're a kingdom of the sea. I don't know. Go figure. I mean, they're big. I know that. That was probably some of the best evidence. It was explained in Buffy. All right, Peter, that's cool. And Brad, yeah, absolutely correct. And they were warrior princes. They were getting the hell out of the way. I mean, can you imagine? They came out of that tumult. We saw the power. I don't think most of us comprehended how deep and powerful that earthquake was. It moved the earth. And the devastation in the fault line right there on the tectonic plates was massive. And you could see how that water, and that was just one inlet. You look in that map, that whole area, there are a couple of inlets that came in, and there were this thousands of people who died in that. They thought they were high enough. And in one building, I have footage. It breaks my heart when I think about it, because you watch these people die. They were up on the 5th story of a building, and it wasn't high enough for them. And you watched them, the guy that was shooting, he had enough respect to pull the camera away when they were finally just inundated. Yeah. Gemma Baker, if we are gods, we have sex. Then yes, God, Gemma, I owe you a cup of coffee. Send me your address and I'll get you a cup of coffee at your favorite place. Because and get this, Hermes teaches that God is bisexual. Now, I know there's a lot of religions that are going to go back crap crazy on that one, but God is both a homosexual and a heterosexual. It'd have to be. I mean, someone started it. Yep, there we go. This is the craziest life I've ever known. There's a song like that, Alex, you know. Three Dog Night, in fact. Mama told me not to come. And Rick and Delaney, you are a freaking god. So let's talk about kingdoms. That's what it's all about. Understanding what the hell is going on around here. So you do the whole disclaimer thing. This is for educational purposes, blah, 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 blah. All right. So what does your kingdom look like? We all have one. It's called you. Me. What does that kingdom look like? What condition is it in? I mean, as I wrote, is it in chaos? Is it in confusion? Is it in disorganization? Is it broke? No more assets in the treasury? I mean, we don't stop and think this, but we exist within multiple kingdoms, and I'll prove it right here very quickly. Here are the 5 kingdoms that we're immersed into: bacteria, fungus, plants, protoplasm, animals. The 5 kingdoms. Some say that there is, in fact, 6, separating plants from animals. Each one of these are complex. Each one of them have structure. Each one of them have laws. Each one of them have form and function. Each one have life and death. Every time death occurs in each one of these, new life is brought forth. So if we were doing the standardization of IQ equivalency test here, would you say, what do all of these have in common? Well, they're kingdoms on this planet called the kingdoms of life. This is it in a nutshell. This is us. We don't think about this, but on your body right now, there are more staph germs than what you can imagine. In fact, most people die not because of some disease or something, but because their bodies turn on them. You know what an infection is? You know what a staph infection is? You know what MRSA is? I mean, I can go on and on and on. Your body is nothing more than each one of these kingdoms feeding off of you, because you feed off of them. Look at it. Each one of them have gods. Each one of them, again, you can't have a structure, organization of life without hierarchy to it. There's someone whose task is to look over it. You know what amazes me about things, ladies and gentlemen? I'll just be very straightforward with you. Most of the people I talk to are lazy, lazy, lazy. When I ask a simple question, so what are you going to do when you die? Let's say you go to heaven. What are you going to do? I don't know. What do you want to aspire to? I'm going to be dead. Why I want to aspire to anything? They don't get it. And so they go into the next realm completely ignorant. I think that's why the other realm sends them back. And my question is for you, what demons have you let loose in your kingdom? You create these demons. They didn't create you. You create them. You invoke them. Angels, you got good angels, you got bad angels, wicked angels, fallen angels. You got good demons, you got bad demons. Now, these things don't bother me. The last time that I was oppressed by something I would say if it was a dark nature, I made it to understand that it was nothing more than the brown stain of humanity's shorts. That pisses them off. I mean, it really does. These creatures are more creatures of pride, and you start attacking their pride, they fall like nothing. You start talking to these oppressive spirits that are in your life. You start telling them how freaking miserable they are, that this is the whole thing of their existence. And when the fact is, when this plane of existence ceases, they will cease, you will continue. I rubbed their face in it for so many years, they don't come around. And if I ever feel there's an oppressive one, I'll call it to attention and tell it to get on its feet and get the hell out, or it's going to kiss the bottom of mine. It's got a choice. You can either worship me or get out of my sight. Question is, what kind of demons have you let loose in your kingdom? You're the God. You created it. You know, so many kingdoms, as I have seen, are in ruins. And that's how we've been programmed. If you're not among the elite, and if you didn't have a freak thing of fortune, most people are programmed by religion, politics, social morals, etc., to live their lives in a kingdom of ruins, broken dreams, false hopes, faith misappropriated. I like what, I forget who it was who wrote that earlier. You know, it's about time we start replacing faith with evidence. Seriously, folks. You know, I'm practicing a spell right now. Not letting you know what it is. I'm practicing it. Seeing what works and what doesn't work. But the fact is, these things do work. Now, there's others of us where we're building a kingdom. We're thriving. We're learning that the mistakes that we made that brought us to where we are, things will not change overnight. They didn't get here overnight. Many of you have spent decades perfecting the ruin of your own lives. And now that you have become awakened and aware of it, there's a lot of work to be done. But it's all worth it. It really is. That's how you begin to thrive. You begin to prepare your kingdom for the next event, because we all are going to face it. Some of us have begun creating already. We do this in meditation. We do this when we project. And as we get to know the spirit, we find out you have to begin to create something. You know, most people leave this plane of existence with hell waiting for them because that's exactly what they're expecting. They're expecting this either or situation, and they get into extreme point of confusion. You know, the real masters of all this are the ones who can begin to build these kingdoms already here. And you know, there are just some, in my mind, that are beyond description. But exist, they do. And my question, have you begun to build your kingdom? What have you done to strengthen? You know, it's the old adage, peace through strength. If you have strength, you pretty much know if someone's going to oppose you, they think you're either equal or lesser to them. The art of war. And we all have to have defenses. Nothing wrong with that. Self-preservation, we practice it every second we're here. So I ask you, what condition is your kingdom in? And don't be writing fancy things because you see other people thinking to read your comment. Be honest. You know, that's the thing I'm challenging. Again, when people start making comments that I know are intellectually dishonest, I challenge them. People don't like being called liars, but humanity is a lying race. We're all liars. The average person tells at least 5 lies a day. There are some that tell 5 lies an hour, if not more. So here's the deal, folks. As we were talking last night with Dr. Albers, they are now realizing that there are so many planets. It's, as I heard one astronomer write, it's probably unfathomable what the number is. We're seeing star systems create. We're seeing the evolution of the universe. Folks, it's not a fallacy to begin to understand. If Earth is alive, that means Earth was either created as this deity or Earth ascended to be this deity. It's alive. If it wasn't alive, you and me wouldn't be here. And its lifespan, billions of years. I keep feeling a drawingness inside that this is where I really want to be. I'd love to be a planet. And that's why I welcome you to your upgrade. I think many of us, way after I'm gone, will be hearing my voice. This is where I believe we're headed. Think about it. What would be the most appropriate for a God? Your own world. Think about it. So I'm just now being able to think, so there you go. My thought for you today. We're all gods. And you know what? I had to write to someone. It's only the Christians. I get more encouragement emails from Muslims and Hindus than I do anything else. Amazing. It's the Christians that are nasty. That's all I got to say. They're just nasty. And one was trying to rip me a new one saying, you know, I'm a heretic, you know, I'm preaching nothing more than the lies of the Luciferians. And, you know, I am what, you know, Paul wrote about and Peter and, you know, went on and on and on. And I just simply went back and quoted directly from the Bible, 3 passages where it says, you are God's. Ay, 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 ay. And I tell you, it's just nuts. I saw someone say something about Muslims. They're the ones that write me are the sweetest people. And I love the Hindus. I've got several Buddhists that write me. Those are people I can love. They seem to have the ability to be able to coexist. What a freaking concept that is. So anyway, we move on and mic drop. So anyway, now tomorrow at about 9:34 my time, and then I've calculated it as best as I can where I'm at, we'll be at the peak of the new moon for me, where I live here in Colorado. So at 9:30, I am going to be doing the favor invocation. I would encourage you to find out where you are and where you're closest to that totality of the new moon, the black moon. You know, do a little studying on that. There's a reason. I've got videos out there. I know Brian is looking to do a show on this. And Brian, let's do it. That the moon has been held in higher regard than even the sun. It has been in so many cultures that the moon, many of you know this, has amazing energy. So, you know, it's a perfect time to invoke favor on your life. And start invoking the favor of, someone asked me this. Can I make one? No, but I do know that we have Karen who has talked about that. I'm just reading comments. So, by the way, Wayne, you get my latest edition. Yes, Joe, I did. I just haven't opened it up, sir. Will did it. Who put it there? That's a good question, Brandy. I have another video I've done that. I think that the moon is, in fact, an artificial satellite. Where Dr. Albers thinks it theorizes that it's a hologram. My theory is that it's an arc. What brought us here? You know, Jimmy Tells All is a great YouTube channel. You guys, if you are not subscribers over there, check him out. The thing about it, I was led over the weekend to rewatch Symbols of an Alien Sky. You should go on YouTube, watch that. There was a culture, a civilization, a race of beings on Mars. And whatever tore through here, now they're telling us 70,000 years ago, man was here. It may have even been sooner, much earlier than that. Later, excuse me. Maybe 50, maybe 10,000 years ago. But something happened on Mars. Something disastrous. I don't know if it was a war. I don't know if it was a result of potential planetary objects coming in. I suspect it was a war. The evidence is overwhelming that the footage, the pictures we get from Curiosity and the other rovers that are out there, that it's very evident that there was a huge war that took place. It apparently was a magnificent culture, just by what we can see from the remnants of the buildings but it was totally obliterated. The whole freaking planet obliterated. No. I contend, as you can see right over here on my whiteboard, I haven't done the production on the video yet. The elements are done, storyboard, but I contend that our bodies were never meant to be here. They're not designed to be in this environment. We've adapted by necessity. But there's so much that you could validate that. So it was a good movie. That was a good movie. John Carter, I think that was perfect. So yeah, go figure. And then I want to do, I've done one on breaking the God spell, and it's also in the Ball series. By the way, that first video, the introduction of Ball theory, it's over 200,000 views. I mean, I just don't get it. And boy, there's some fiery comments on that video. It's the only video I have where the thumbs down and the thumbs up are almost about equal. So, blood covenants. So y'all were talking earlier. What is the saying they use? Blood over intent. Child, I don't know who taught them to do that, but we need to find that spirit, that energy, and kick its ass. We need to hog tie it and put it in the place that only our kind can send those type of people. Yeah, I'm talking about we have the power to actually bind them. Well, happy birthday, Rebecca. I don't know where you are, Rebecca, but I just saw Robin, who was a Deborah, just said that. Hello, Jenny. How are you doing? Some of you new people. Jules, how are you doing? Gotta go? Well, peace to you. Favor upon you, Jules. Wherever your footsteps has been given unto you. So, yeah. Pretty, the blood covenants. Blood over intent. I don't know if they even know what they're actually saying. Hello, Anna. How are you? How is the family and everyone down in Houston, Texas? So we're going to do one. You know, and I know a lot of people have tattoos, but the reason why I never did, number one, I got this phobia of needles. I had to go to the doctor and get all blood work done, part of the annual physical thing. And I hate it. You ever had someone who didn't know what they were doing, trying to draw blood from you? Oh, man. Oh, that's the kind of pain that, Yeah. So, blood covenants. Anytime there is blood involved of a human being in a ritual ceremony, that's heavy stuff. You can do it. There is all sorts of magic that if you mix your blood with it, powerful, powerful invocations. But I don't know if most people want to deal with those energies. I don't mess with them. My attitude is I had to throw down a couple of years ago. And what I learned, I don't have to get into that sandbox. It exists. I know it does. But they ain't got no power over me. Their magic can't work on me. And I'm not aligned to their cause. And they're not aligned to mine. And therefore, we have a force field of neutrality. And I'm moving right on along. There's a verse in Proverbs that says, only a fool meddles in an argument that he didn't start or have any business being in. You're going to get hurt. So, and I don't, a lot of people have tattoos. They're beautiful. But for me, as I said, it's just a phobia. No, I'm not going to do it. I don't even like giving blood. I'm just telling you. When I was a child, I was a carrier of strep throat. And they finally figured out it was me because everyone else in my first grade class was sick, except me, you know. So sure enough, I carried the antibodies, and I had to go for twice a day. My dad was in the Air Force then. I had to go to McAllen Air Force Base twice a day to get a penicillin shot. And I can still remember walking into that hospital on the air base, the smell of alcohol. Anyway, I digress, folks. Well, have yourselves a good day. Thank you for being here. I forgot to invoke the you should feel the energies in my basement. Well, Rick, I'll tell you what, there's a way you can make them run. Woo! You know, most people don't assume they look at a grotesque figure, something materializes, right? Most of them can't hurt you. Very few can actually physically hurt you. But the fact is, you look at yourself as somewhat less than they are. And that is one that will show through, brother and sister. They'll see it. Now, you go down there like a light beam, ready to kick some ass, ready to do some banishment into a pit that they, listen, those spirits are fearful of a place. And you start mentioning about putting them in that place, they're going to pass you by. Even if you can't see what your words are doing, you're cutting them like with a sword. So anyway, yes, Gushra, yes, it does hurt like hell. Oh, all of y'all are just the best. Thank you. I just want to invoke favor upon all of you. May favor be your constant companion, and may favor ever be always before you to greet you when you arrive at your destination. And that's how we do it, folks. So tomorrow I will be doing the favor ritual. I'll be putting out my circle, laying out my 4 cardinal points, and got some other things I want to add to that list. And I'm going to be well, thank you. Thank you. I'm just reading Lapis's message. Thank you very much. So I woke up this morning, and I'll just run this by. In my studies, again, finding the moon. I was talking to my wife about this morning, and I said, the moon. In the Hebraic faith, in the Christianity faith, even within the Islam faith, Abraham worshiped the moon. You know, it's part of the great conversion that he had doing that. But nevertheless, you can't ignore, why were they worshiping the moon? Why were they invoking the powers of the moon? Why would they perform only certain rituals during new moons? Not full moons, new moons. You look into that and you begin to go, there'd be something going on here. All right, folks, see you tomorrow at noon, my time. Hey, Gushara, and I hope I'm saying you're wrong. I named correctly. I just feel so bad if I'm not. Hey, D-Truth. So, all right, folks, be good to yourself. Thank you all for enriching my life. I hope that I reciprocated in some kind back into yours. We'll see you tomorrow, and all my very best to you all. Thank you all. All right, bye. Can God have sex?